Welcome back to Monster Tamer, a 2D Pokemon-like RPG created Phaser 3. Previously, we continued working on our options scene, and we started to add in our player input handling for being able to navigate through our menu. If you missed the previous videos, there'll be links in the video description to the source code up to this point, as well as complete source code for this video. There will also be a link to previous videos if you'd like to catch up. So let's get started. Alright, so now that we have our base functionality done for actually being able to navigate our options menu, what we need to do next is add in the functionality to actually update an individual option. So go ahead and do this. We're going to need to add variables to keep track of which of our actual option is selected. So for example, on battle scene, we'll need a variable to know if on is selected or if off is actually selected. And so to do this, we're going to go ahead and create enums for all of our available options. So similar to what we did in our options.js file, where we add in our option menu options. So to go ahead and do this, what we'll do is we'll copy this whole block of code. Let's go ahead and paste it. We're going to start with our text speed options. So we'll go ahead and name this text speed options. We'll go ahead and update our enum. And so this will be text speed. This will be text speed menu options. And we'll go ahead and update our references. And then for our values, what we'll do is just need 3 of these. And so we'll have our slow, we're going to have mid, and we will have fast. So basically, we're just going to go ahead and copy our text that we have here for our options. So we're going to have slow, mid, fast. Then we'll copy this, and let's go ahead and do our battle scene. So for our variable, we're going to call this battle scene options. And then we'll go ahead and replace text speed. So we will have battle scene menu options. And we are going to have on and off. We'll go ahead and just copy those for our keys. And let's go ahead and copy that. And then so let's go ahead and do our battle style. So we're going to have our battle style options, and we will change this to battle style menu options. We'll update our references. And so for this, we're going to have set, and we'll have shift. Go ahead and update our values. Then let's copy our battle scene options again, since our sound also uses on and off. And we will have our sound options, and then our sound menu options. And let's go ahead and update our values. And then we just need to go ahead and do our volume menu options and our menu color options. So for both our volume and our menu color options, what we're going to do is we're just going to use numerical values to represent what's actually selected. So as an example, for our volume, what we'll do is we'll do numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This will represent the various values they can set our volume slider to. So we're going to go ahead and make it so they can only do in increments of 25. And so we'd have 0, 25, 50, 75, 100. And we'll have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 represent those. And then for menu color, you'll only be able to choose between one of 3 colors. And so we'll have 0, 1, and 2 to represent our different colors that can be selected. So to go ahead and do that, we're going to go ahead and use our type definition to define our new type. And then for our type, we're going to have 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. And that will be our volume menu options. And we will copy that. And so for our menu color options, we only need 0, 1, and 2, since we only have the 3 colors. Alright, so now we have most of our boilerplate done for our actual types and our option values. What we need to do is jump back to our options scene, and on our class, we're going to need to add properties to keep track of each of these options and to know which one's selected. So what we'll do is at the top of our class, we're going to add some new private properties. And so what we're going to do selected text speed option. And then what we'll do is we're going to copy this, and we'll go ahead and paste it, and we're just going to go ahead and update the parts that are tied to the option we're doing. So after text speed, we're going to have battle scene option. Then we will have battle style option. And then we'll have our sound menu option. And then we'll have our selected volume option. And then we'll have our selected menu color option. And then real quick, let's go ahead and add in our types for each of these. So on text speed, this will be our text speed, menu options, battle, scene, menu options, battle style, menu options. We'll have our sound menu options, volume menu options, and then finally, we will have our menu color options. And then let's jump down to our init method, and we will go ahead and add in our initial values for these when our scene is initialized. So let's go ahead and copy this line of code here. We'll go ahead and paste it once, and we'll go ahead and do our selected text speed option, and let's change this to text speed options, and we will go ahead and have a default value of mid. And then we'll want to do this for each of our options. So let's do this. We will have our selected battle scene option. Then we'll have this. We'll have our battle style option. Our selected sound menu. Selected volume. And this selected menu color option. And then so for battle scene option, we will do our battle scene options, and we will have it on. We'll have our battle style options, and we will have this set to shift. And then we will have our sound menu, our sound options, and we'll go ahead and set this to on. And then for our volume, we'll go ahead and start off at 100%. So we're gonna go ahead and do 4. And finally, for our color menu option, we'll start off with 1. Our first options will be 0 on our index. All right, so now that we have all of our properties in place, what we need to start doing now is adding in our methods for actually updating and highlighted which of our options are selected. So to get started, we're going to start with our text speed. And what we need to do is we need to add in logic to go ahead and modify the color on our selected option so we know which one's selected. And then if in our logic for where we handle our player input, if we press left or right, then we need to go ahead and update that option. So what we'll do is we'll come down to the bottom of our class, and let's go ahead and minimize, and let's add in 2 new methods. So likewise, what we did for our input, we'll have one for updating our text game object, and then one for the actual selected option. So let's add in our private method. We're going to call this updateTextSpeedOption. And for this, we'll need our direction, so we know which way to update our option. And then for our other method, we're going to go ahead and do update text speed game object. Objects, I actually need to update multiple. And so what we'll do is we'll start off with our update text speed game objects method. So in here, what we need to do is we need to get our 3 text game objects that are tied to our options for our text speed. And so to do that, we'll go ahead and use our group. And so we're going to go ahead and make a new variable, do const, we'll do text game objects. It's going to be equal to this text speed option text game objects. And we're going to call get children. And this will return all of our game objects from our group. And then real quick, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and type this, because right now, with our types, it just returns the generic game object, but we know all the children we added are our text game objects. And this will be nice because then when we want to call like set text, it'll come up in our IDE. And so to go ahead and set the type for that, what we do is before our assignment, we'll just go ahead and add in our type definition line. And then what we can do is we just wrap this in parentheses. And then inside here, we just do our typical type. And for our type, we know this is going to be a phaser, game objects, text game object, and it's going to be an array. And so once we have our text game objects, the first thing we're going to do is we'll loop through them. So we'll do our text game objects. We're going to do for each. And then for each of our objects, what we want to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and modify their color to be white So that way they're not selected. And then we need to loop through our options and update the color of the one that is selected. And so what we'll do is we'll do object, we're going to do set color. And so on set color, what we need to do is define our color we want to use. And since we'll be reusing this multiple spots, we'll go ahead and make an object to keep track of this. So let's go ahead and jump to the top of our class. And what we'll do is we'll make a new object. And we're going to do const. We'll do text, font, colors equal to our object.freeze. And we'll just need two colors. And so we'll have not selected. And so if it's not selected, this is going to be our white. So we'll have 6 Fs, and then we will have selected. And what we'll do is we'll do our red color. So we'll do FF2222. All right, and then let's go back to where we were working our code. And so for setting our color, we're going to do text font colors not selected. All right, so then after we reset all of our text game objects back to white, we need to just go ahead and check our options. So let's do our if statement. We'll do if this selected text speed option is equal to our text speed option. And we'll go ahead and start with slow. If it is equal to slow, then we can go ahead and reference our text game object. And so we'll do text game objects. We'll grab our first index. And then we're going to go ahead and call set color. And we're going to do text, font colors, and we will do selected. And if that is the selected one, we will go ahead and return early. We don't need to do our other logic. So then let's go ahead and copy that. We'll paste it twice, and we will do our mid, and we will do our fast. And we need to update our indexes. So we'll have 1, and then we'll have 2. And then finally, we'll just go ahead and throw on our exhaustive guard for this. And we'll have our selected text game text speed option. Just make sure we cover all of our possible values. And now we should be able to test this method. So if we come back up to our init method, and so with our logic, we should be able to go ahead and test this. So if we come up to our create method, let's go right to before we create our controls. So before we create our controls, we're going to go ahead and call our new method. And then that way we can show which option is currently selected. So let's go ahead and save. And if we refresh, our scene should now show that mid is highlighted red to show that, hey, this is our selected option for text speed. All right, so with that working, now we just need to add in our actual logic for navigating between our two different options. So what we'll do is we're going to come back to our updateTextSpeedOption method. And what we'll do real quick is let's jump into our update selected menu option from input. And if text speed was selected and left or right was pressed, we're going to go ahead and call our new method. And so we'll go ahead and pass in direction. And then down here, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll just add in our types real quick. And so for direction, we're not going to have our full direction. It's either going to be left or it's going to be right. All right, so what we need to do is we need to check which direction was actually inputted. So we'll go ahead and start with our left direction. So if our direction is equal to direction.left, what we'll go ahead and do is we're just going to go ahead and do a return. And then we're going to do if our direction is equal to direction right, we'll go ahead and return. And then let's just go ahead and throw on our exhaustive guard. And we will do direction. So then what we'll do is we're going to handle our cases for left. And so we'll just go ahead and start with slow. So if our selected text speed option is equal to slow, then what we'll want to do is we'll just go ahead and return early. And so if we're on slow, we won't be able to move over. We could have it cycle over to fast, but for now, we'll just go ahead and leave our logic where if you press left, nothing will happen. And then we just need to go ahead and handle our other options. So what we'll do is we'll copy that. Let's go ahead and paste it. And we will say if we're on mid. If we're on mid, then we need to actually update our selected value. So we're going to do this. We'll do our selected text speed option is equal. We'll go ahead and assign it to our text speed options, and we will go to slow. Copy that block of code. We'll go ahead and paste it, and we will do fast. And if we're on fast, then we're going to go ahead and go to mid. And we'll just go through on our exhaustive guard. And then what we'll do for our selective guard, we'll go ahead and pass in our selected text speed option. All right, so then let's go ahead and do our write cases. And so what we'll do is we're just going to copy all this code here, and we're going to go ahead and paste it. And what we'll do is we'll start over on fast. So if we're on fast and we try to go right, we're going to return early. If we are on mid, we want to go ahead and go to fast. And if we are on slow, we want to go ahead and go to mid. All right, and then one last thing we can do before we test our code is let's come back up to our method where we handle our input. And so after we update our text speed and we go left or right, we actually want to call our other method for updating our selected color. And so we'll do our update text speed game objects, and then we'll go ahead and save. So after saving, we should be able to come to our scene and test our changes. And so if we come up to our text speed and we try going left and right, we can now see that we can select our option for our text speed. And then likewise, we can still go up and down and select our overall option that we want to modify. All right, so now we have our logic working for our text speed. We just need to go ahead and duplicate this for all of our other options. So what we'll do is we'll come down to the bottom of our class and we'll go ahead and minimize our two methods. What we'll go ahead and do is let's copy the definition here for our text speed. And we'll go ahead and paste that. And then we're going to go ahead and let's update our method name. And so we're going to go ahead and call this. We'll do update battle scene option. And then let's go ahead and add in the one for updating our game objects. So we'll do another private method and we'll do update battle scene option, and we'll do game objects. We'll have our method. So then let's go ahead and copy those two lines of code, and we will go ahead and do this for each of our options. And so we'll have battle style, and then we'll have battle style option game objects. And then we will have our sound option and update our sound option game objects. Let's go ahead and copy that. We'll go ahead and paste. And so now we will have our update volume option. And then for our method here, we're going to do update volume, and we're going to call this slider since we have to do something slightly different. And paste it one more time, and we'll have update menu color option. And we will do update menu color display text. We'll go ahead and save. So then let's jump back up to our method for we're handling our input. And we will just go ahead and add those two methods to our different settings here. All right, so under battle scene, what we'll do is we'll do this. We will call update battle scene option, pass in direction. This update battle scene option game objects. We'll come down to battle style. Do this update battle style option, pass in direction. This update battle style option game objects. Come down to sound. This update sound option, pass in direction. And we'll do this update sound option game objects. Jump down to volume. This update sound. This update volume option, pass in direction. This update volume slider. For menu color, we will go ahead and do this update menu color option, pass in direction. This update menu color display text. And then real quick down in our confirm, we don't need a to do for left or right. There won't be any functionality there. All right, and with that, that actually brings this video to an end. In our next video, we're going to continue working on our options scene. So as a reminder, there's a link in the description of the video to the complete source code for this video. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking the video and hitting the bell icon to be notified when the next video in this series is released. For more great Phaser 3 content, please see the links on your screen now.